Alright, you're back, fans, and we're back with the second hour of the RWL 11th Annual Helloween Brawl. And man, oh man alive, this next block is set to be as exciting as the first. We've got for big matches this hour, and 3 of them have championship implications.
Coming up, there's gonna be a 6-woman tag match between the Future Endeavored and Les Femmes Fatales. Also, the Snarl Tag Team titles will be defended with the Psychedelics. Facing the challengers, the Heart Foundation, and those lousy sectarians, the Disciples of Darkness, challenging power and beauty for the Women's World Tag Team belts.
And while all that's waiting to happen, we're starting this hour with the Cruiserweight Championship match between Tommy Wilcox and the prototype Gary Galaxy. First, let's have a look at how that happened in the 3-way contenders match at the last edition of
Puts on the brakes. Here's a kick. Here's a different rebound off the ropes. A knee to the head, another rebound, and a clothesline takes Tony down. Elva Gigante is non-compass menace as Wilcox goes for the pin. 1, 2, 3, and this one is all over. Tommy Wilcox picking up the win by pinfall. The Cocoa Beach Wonderkin, not unlike his tag team partner Oliver Hollywood, picking up a win here, and he will be facing the prototype Gary Galaxy next week at Helloween Brawl for the RWL Cruiserweight Championship. And there you see.
Be real with you, Tommy Wilcox. You know what it means to be a title holder in our WL. You've been there before, and you're there now with Ollie Wood. You know, I used to have a different attitude about even being a champion when I first got the Cruiserweight title, but I've wised up about it over time. That's why I'm not gonna lose tonight. It's why you're not gonna be a double champion at my expense, and why I'm going home with that Cruiserweight belt after the smoke clears. Let me be straight with you, Tom. I respect you. You're good at what you do, but I just happen to be that much better.
Well, there you have it. Gary Galaxy drawing the line in the sand to Tommy Wilcox as the Cocoa Beach Wonderkin prepares to challenge the prototype Gary Galaxy for the RWL Cruiserweight Championship. Let's see what happens when the smoke clears, as he said.
The next match is set for one fall with a 15-minute time limit, and it is for the RWL Cruiserweight Championship.
And here they are now, the Fairfield Fox and some fire! Fairfield Fox, Eddie Crawford, and Tommy Wilcox, one half of the Rage Tag Team Champions. Oliver Hollywood, not here this evening, so I don't know who the hell he's motioning to. But nonetheless, Eddie Crawford and Tommy Wilcox making their way down to the ring, getting ready to face the prototype Gary Galaxy for the RWL Cruiserweight Championship. And it's a big deal, because if Wilcox wins, he's going to be a double champion, and Gary Galaxy will be out in cold.
This could be a tough one for Gary, as Tommy's keen to earn dual championship status, and he's not allergic to gold in any way. Current tag champion, former Snarl TV champion, and he's every bit as fast and on the same level with Gary when it comes to aerial moves and high-risk maneuvers.
So what's the stronghold spin on this one, GB?
You heard the man Wally. Gary's on a mission to retain the belt and to not make the stronghold look bad, especially when power and beauty also have their belts on the line tonight against the Disciples of Darkness. It's a high-pressure night for the stronghold for sure.
You know, I got tons of respect for Tommy Wilcox. I think he's fantastic. But I also think he's not going to become Cruiserweight Champion tonight. You can ask me why, and I'll tell you. I don't know if you guys have been keeping score, but it's been 2 years since Gary Galaxy took that Cruiserweight title from Scotty Priest, and nobody's been able to get it away from him yet.
No, you can't argue with logic like that, Marin. And add to the mix, Tommy Wilcox is part of the Stronghold. Part of the Stronghold means you're one of the winningest wrestlers in this company, managed by Sylvia Strong.
It is true, Sylvia Strong pushes all of her wrestlers very hard, but that might be a key reason as to why so many of them are holding championship gold and holding it for so long a time.
I know you folks will say I'm partial because Sylvia and I are an item, but you'd only be about half right. I've got a genuine admiration for the Stronghold's success rate when you're managing not just one or two, but 3 championship tag teams. In addition to singles title holders like Big Jake Blackwell. Well, it's just hard to argue with success. I hear a lot about how MJ Ferrantino and his stable are moving up, and how Ferrantino might even make Manager of the Year for 2025. But in my estimation, the Stronghold's just that much more successful.
Of course, Mr. Case.
Introducing first the challenger, accompanied by the Fairfield Fox Bay Crawford from Cocoa Beach, Florida, weighing 223 pounds. He's the Cocoa Beach wonderkind, Tommy Wilcox. His opponent accompanied by Sylvia Strong from Chesapeake, Virginia, weighing 198 pounds. The RWL Cruiserweight Champion, the prototype, Gary Galaxy.
Looks like it's going to be up to Gary to hold the line against Tommy Wilcox in this title matchup. Everybody's ready to go. Willie Johnson rings the bell. They come center ring. They lock it up. Collar and elbow. Gary Galaxy catches some elbows to the midsection from Tommy Wilcox. Wilcox locks it up. Whoa! Hurricane Rana. Wow. Nicely done. Gary quickly counters him. Goes right into an abdominal stretch. As I said, he's not going to get a tap out that way, but he'll definitely wear out those muscles. Wilcox counters and drops Gary right on his head. Running kick takes Galaxy down. A hard overhand right from Wilcox. A counter from Galaxy. Gary whips Wilcox out on the apron. A hard right hand. Another. Wilcox won't go down. Wilcox counters with a forearm, gets himself back inside the ring. A chop, a kick, another kick, and look at this. Whoa! Gut wrench powerbomb from the prototype. Gary Galaxy beating the head of Tommy Wilcox against the canvas. Gary, look at this. Displaying some serious confidence here. Wilcox has rolled to the outside. The referee's already counting him. Gary goes on out after him. Gary Galaxy with a nasty neck breaker to Tommy Wilcox. Wilcox trying to stand himself back up, counters with an elbow to Gary. Locks him up. It's into the ring post time with the title on the line. You can play it anytime, even if you're 99. Yeah, I had to. Well, happy Halloween, everybody. Tommy Wilcox has just busted open. Oh, man, did you see that? Over the top rope clothesline to Gary Galaxy. And the Cruiserweight Champion's already busted open and looking like he's having some problems. Tommy Wilcox in control of things at the present time. Wilcox locks up Gary, rolls him inside the ring, follows him on in himself. They lock it up again. And Gary Galaxy smashes his head into the turnbuckle. Wilcox counters with an elbow, finds his way out, locks it up with Gary. Gary counters with elbows of his own, says, no, I'm not going into that corner. Wilcox with a quick counter and a kick to the leg, locks up Gary Galaxy. Escorts him to the ropes. Gary pitched out onto the apron, and what's the... Whoa, man! Well, that was innovative. Huh. Here's a cover. Oh. Just a one. I have never seen anyone do that before. Wow. Tommy Wilcox with some new tricks this evening. Gary Galaxy misses with that drop kick. Wilcox with a couple of rights, a left, and an uppercut.
Takes Gary down to the mat. He rolls to the outside for a quick reset. Gets a hold of Wilcox. Flips him to the ropes. Ooh, man. Spin kick. Takes Wilcox down. Quickly back up, though. Oh, man. Nasty spine buster. From Gary Galaxy. Here's a cover and a hook of the leg. 1, 2. Well, we did say this one's going to be intense. Gary Galaxy caught from behind by Wilcox. A hard shot to the back. Wilcox whips him to the ropes. Makes the duck under. Spinning elbow. Takes Gary down. Wilcox covers again. 1, 2. Gary gets the right shoulder up. There's a slap across the face from Wilcox. Wilcox gets a hold of the trunks. Vertical suplex to Gary Galaxy. Again, the Cruiserweight Championship on the line in this matchup. Gary charges and, oh man, a crossbody that takes them both to the outside. Running kick to the face of Gary Galaxy from Tommy Wilcox. Wilcox sets it up. There's a stomp to the face from the Cruiserweight Champ. Gary puts on the brakes on the kick, delivers an elbow to the leg. Goes around on Gary. Oh, man. Oh, Wilcox catches a nasty shot to the back of the head on the floor. He may be knocked out. Gary Galaxy switching things around here. He's in control of the match at this point. Drives a knee into the arm of Tommy Wilcox. Well, Wilcox started out strong, but he is starting to fade fast at this point. Galaxy rolls him back inside the ring. And here he comes. Wilcox just about back to a standing position here. Gary Galaxy with another whip to the ropes of Wilcox. And, oh man, a tilt-a-whirl neck breaker and a half right there. There's a cover. 1, 2. And just like that, Gary Galaxy retains the Cruiserweight title in this matchup.
Time was 5 minutes and 4 seconds. Your winner and still our WL Cruiserweight Champion, Gary Galaxy.
Well, Gary may have a few extra battle scars after this encounter with Tommy Wilcox, but he's also going home with the RWL Cruiserweight Championship. What an intense matchup, and look at this finisher right here. Put Tommy Wilcox lights out for sure. What a win for the Gary Galaxy and the Stronghold. We'll be back with more Helloween Brawl when we return right after these important words.
As Helloween Brawl 2025 continues, a 6-woman tag team match featuring the Future Endeavors, Dakota Kai, Carmella, and Blair Davenport, facing the 3 dominant ladies of Rage, Les Femmes Fatales, including Women's World Champion Dynamite Jeannie Parker.
This next 6-woman tag team match is set for one fall with a 30-minute time limit. Introducing first the team of Dakota Kai, Blair Davenport, and Carmella, the Future Endeavors.
It's the first time we're seeing the majority, 3 out of 4 members of the Future Endeavor together in this 6-woman tag with an unusual 30-minute time limit. So what's the story behind how this one came together, Myron?
That's easy. It has nothing to do with the Future Endeavors. We haven't seen them together since War Games in September. But Jeannie Parker and company, they wanted this 30-minute time limit. They wanted to prove definitively who is the top dogs as far as, ladies tag trios is concerned.
Their opponents, the RWL Ladies Tag Trio Champions, Jet Williams, Goddess Mimi Emerson, and Women's World Champion, the Queen, Dynamite Jeannie Parker, Les Femmes Fatales.
The Ladies Tag Trio Champions, Les Femmes Fatales, accompanied by double champion Jeannie Parker, the sexy soul sister of the Squared Circle. And man, they said 20 minutes isn't going to be enough. We need 30 minutes to prove our point against the Future Endeavor. And I guess Jeannie Parker wanted to do it with Jet Williams and Mimi Emerson. It was great that she teamed up with American Powers and Dion the Titaness for War Games in September, but I guess they wanted their own time to shine, so here we go.
I've been amped about this match since I heard it had been signed. You know how much I love watching Jeannie, Jet, and Mimi in action just about any time. But this one, with the Future Endeavor, definitely got my attention.
They could ask for this match and get it, and why not? They're the 3 top ladies on Rage. They've been unshakable since getting those ladies tag trio titles. but they fell just short of making it a title match.
Alright, a 6-woman tag with a 30-minute time limit. At the end of this, we're going to know who's top dog. Referee rings the bell. Here we go. Jeannie Parker catches the kick to the midsection from Dakota Kai. Dakota catches a kick to the knee. Jeannie Parker with a low DDT right to the head of Dakota Kai. Dakota rounded up. Jeannie misses with the kick, catches the right hand, catches another, catches the kick. Oh, look at this, an elbow to the leg, another kick. Dakota Kai puts on the brakes, spins Jeannie Parker around. Parker goes right back in, whips Dakota Kai to the ropes, makes the duck under. Here comes Dakota Kai. Whoa, nice arm drag from the women's world champion. Here's a quick cover. One, just not even a one. Wow, all right. Dakota Kai rolls to the outside, goes after Mimi Emerson, slams her to the floor. Jeannie Parker gets a hold of her from behind, has her up in her front cradle, scoop slams her out on the floor. Jeannie Dynamite catches a leg sweep from Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai rounds her up again. Jeannie shoves her away. Jeannie Dynamite rolls her back inside the ring. The women's world champion off the top rope, crossbody with a cover and a hook of the leg. One. Well, that's why she's women's world champion and has been for 7 years. Huh. Here's a tag to Carmella. Carmella makes her way into the ring. Jeannie Parker spins her around with a hard right hand and a leg drop right to the throat. Here's another cover. 1, 2. Oh, man. That was a near fall. Jeannie Dynamite heavy with the pins here. The women's world champion goes after Blair Davenport, catches a shot from her. Carmella rounded back up by Jeannie. Jeannie Parker escorting her to the femme fatale's corner. Hit first into the turnbuckle goes Carmella. Here comes Jet Williams. Jet delivers a shot to the ribs. Carmella slaps her in the chest, tags her with a hard forearm. Out to the floor goes Jet Williams. And Carmella's got bad intentions. Here we go. She's warming it up. She rebounds off the ropes, through the ropes, and oh man, flying shoulder takes Jet Williams back down to the floor again. Referee already counting both ladies. Jet Williams pursuing Carmella, makes her way back inside the ring. Carmella locks her up, whips her to the ropes, drop toe hold to Jet Williams, and takes a little impromptu shiatsu across the back of Jet Williams. A kick to the midsection and a face buster from Carmella. Jet Williams is laid out, and here comes Dakota Kai again. Jet Williams still motionless near center ring as Dakota Kai makes her way to the top turnbuckle. Look out, here she comes, double boost right to the midsection. That's a lot of weight to drop. She tries for the double stomp again, doesn't get it. Jet Williams with a wraparound DDT to Dakota Kai. Jet Williams rounds her up. There's an arm breaker. Winds up the arm, parlays it into an arm bar. She's stretching that arm for all she's worth. Back up on her feet first, rolls an elbow across the back of Dakota Kai. Dakota rounded up again by Jet. Jet Williams with a backbreaker to Dakota Kai. Jet makes her way to the top turnbuckle here. And drops the leg right across the throat of Dakota Kai. Jet covers, hooks the leg. 1, 2. Another near fall. This is gonna be a long one, folks. I just got a feeling. Jet Williams rounds up Dakota Kai. Winds up the arm. Gets her down on all four, stomps on the shoulder. Jet Williams beats it out of town, turns it back over to the women's world champ, Dynamite Jeannie Parker. Parker shoves Dakota Kai away. A hard right, spins her around, gets her from behind, but a quick counter and a shot to the back. And another from Dakota Kai. She goes behind on Jeannie Parker. A butt bump separates them. Up over the shoulders in a fireman's carry. Dakota Kai quickly countered. A hard right hand from Jeannie Parker and a drop kick takes Dakota Kai down to the mat again. Again, Parker going for the pin. 1. Ropes are too close. Dakota Kai instinctively reaching out for that bottom rope. Jeannie Dynamite drags her towards center. Jeannie Parker, here it comes, the big leg drop, but no. Dakota Kai rolling out of the way just in the nick of time. Jeannie misses with the dropkick. Dakota Kai turns it over to Blair Davenport for her first licks in this 6-woman tag. She locks it up with Jeannie Parker. Jeannie whipped to the ropes. A collision with no result. Hard right spins Blair Davenport around. Jeannie Parker tries to get her up there, but there's a stomp to the foot. There's a hard right from Blair Davenport. Davenport sets up Jeannie, and there's a slam. Here's a cover. Whoa, look at this right here. Here's the ref. 1, 2. Another near fall. This time for the future endeavor. Their first, really. Blair Davenport makes it all the way up to the top turnbuckle. Mimi Emerson says, oh, no, you don't. Forget about that idea. Jeannie back on her feet, but still momentarily stunned. Blair Davenport goes behind on her. Whips her to the ropes. Makes the duck under. Makes the leapfrog. Here comes Jeannie Parker. There's another collision with no result. That move did not work out for Blair Davenport. Jeannie slams her face into the canvas. Jeannie Parker tagging in Goddess Mimi Emerson. This is her first licks in the matchup against Blair Davenport. Misses with the running kick. There's another kick, another couple of kicks, and a right and another knee to the head that connects. Mimi Emerson takes herself to the top turnbuckle, but too late. Here comes Blair Davenport. A drop kick to Blair Davenport. Dakota Kai tags Mimi. Mimi counters with a kick. There's a running kick that takes both. Oh man, both of them are laid out. Mimi Emerson locked up by Dakota Kai. Snap suplex with a cover. 1. Not even a 1. Mimi Emerson back on her feet. Dakota Kai catches his knee, winds up in her own corner. Counters with an elbow. Makes her way out of the corner. A drop kick takes Mimi Emerson down to the mat. Emerson catches a hard forearm from Dakota Kai. Dakota beats it out of town, turns it over to Carmella on the tag. Mimi Emerson back up on her feet. A kick puts her right back down again. Center ring. Here's another cover and another hook of the leg. 1, 2. Referee Charles Lacerra being kept very busy in this matchup. Carmella charges. And whoa, look at this right here. Well executed move. Here's a tag. And here comes Jeannie Parker again. Jeannie Dynamite whips Carmella to the outside. On the wrong side of town, too. Jeannie Parker over the, whoa, ass over tea kettle, a human missile, taking her opponent down to the floor. The referee continuing to count here. Jeannie Dynamite rounds up. Oh, man, right into the barricade. And slam face first into the floor. There's a kick. There's a stomp. Jeannie Parker really starting to unload here. Jeannie Dynamite with shots to the head to Carmella. Carmella rounded back up again. Jeannie Parker tried to slam her into the lip of the apron, but no dice. Parker makes her way back inside the ring. In the meantime, Jet Williams taking care of Carmella. Jeannie Parker goes after Blair Davenport, catches a counter forearm from Davenport. Over the top rope again, another human missile to Blair Davenport from Dynamite Jeannie Parker. Meanwhile, Carmella back in the ring, goes after Jet Williams, slams her on the lip of the apron, goes after Mimi Emerson. Oh man, Emerson counters with a forearm. Jeannie Parker pitches Blair Davenport out of play, man, towards the ramp. Jeannie Dynamite moves in on Carmella. Carmella with a forearm. Jet Williams is down. Carmella unloads with a series of rights to the head of the women's world champion. There's a slap to the face. Jeannie Parker's not going to take too many of those and stay polite. Jeannie Dynamite driven into the barricade. Carmella rounds her up again. There's a right. There's another. There's a third. There's a kick. And whoa. Nice Hurricane Rana. There's a kick to Jet Williams. There's a right hand. Jet Williams slammed to the floor again. And Carmella looking supremely confident with two members of Les Femmes Fatales laid out. Jeannie Parker catches some wrist clutch stomps to the back from Carmella. Mimi Emerson looking on as Carmella makes her way back inside the ring. Mimi counters with a forearm. Carmella goes after her again, gets hung up on the top rope. Blair Davenport goes down again. Jeannie Parker with a little celebratory dance right there. Huh. Carmella goes after Jet Williams, hangs her up off the top rope. Jeannie Parker back in the ring, catches a drop kick that doesn't take her down. Jeannie whipped to the ropes. Carmella counters with an elbow. Jeannie with a hard forearm takes Carmella down to the mat. Dynamite Jeannie Parker turns it over to Mimi Emerson. Carmella still in there punching. Catches the kick to the midsection. Misses with the kick. Mimi Emerson starts driving knees into her midsection, and down she goes. Emerson gathers her back up. Slams her face first into the canvas. Here's a cover from Mimi. But Blair Davenport right there to break it up. Mimi goes after Blair, but Blair counters with an elbow. Mimi Emerson turns it back over to Jeannie Parker. Carmella slowly making her way back up to a standing position here. Jeannie Dynamite with a hard right spins her around, goes behind on her. Tries to get her up there, but no good. A counter arm drag from Carmella, and a hard right hand takes Parker down to the canvas. Jeannie Dynamite catches a kick to the face from Carmella. Here's a cover and a hook of the leg, but Mimi Emerson right there to break it up before even the count of one. Dakota Kai moves in on Mimi Emerson. Jeannie Parker whipped to the Future Endeavor's corner. Blair Davenport brought in on the tag. Jeannie Parker about to catch a double team back body drop. As Blair Davenport takes over for her team, there's a stomp to the chest of Jeannie Parker. Jeannie counters with a kick to the head. Jeannie locks her up. Escorts Blair Davenport to the ropes. Davenport pitched to the outside. Oh man, right on her back. Jeannie Dynamite rebounds off the ropes. Here she comes. Baseball slide, double boots to the chest to Blair Davenport. The referee counting Blair Davenport. Jeannie Parker taking her sweet time about getting back in the ring, and why not? Les Femmes Fatales firmly in control of the Future Endeavor at the present time. Blair Davenport delivers a knee to Jeannie Parker. Carmella takes a ride to the outside as Blair Davenport moves back in. Jeannie Parker with a right and a chop sets her up, clubbing blow to the chest for Blair Davenport. Dynamite Jeannie Parker smelling blood in the water here, stalking Blair Davenport. Goes behind on her, drops the leg right across the throat. Here's the cover and the hook of the leg, but too close. Dakota Kai right there to break it up. Goes behind on Jet Williams, catches an elbow. Jeannie Parker catches a hold of Dakota Kai, has her up over the shoulder, slams her down. This match has been crazy so far, huh? Bulldog to Blair Davenport. Here comes Jet Williams again on the tag. Les Femmes Fatales working like a well-oiled machine so far. Blair Davenport counters with a knee to the midsection of Jet. There's a snapmare. There's a kick to the back. Blair Davenport rounds up Jet Williams. Jet being set up for the suplex here. Slam right down to the canvas. Davenport going for a quick cover. 1, 2. Another near fall in this frantic 6-woman tag team match. One fall with a 30-minute time limit. Jet Williams shoves her away with both boots. Blair Davenport being dragged towards center ring by Jet Williams. Jet with a stomp to the leg. And now into an armbar on Davenport. Jet quickly back up first. Again, Blair Davenport being dragged even further towards center. Jet Williams with another stomp to the leg of Blair Davenport. Davenport rounded up by Jet. There's the arm breaker. And again, Jet Williams parlays that into an armbar on Blair Davenport. Jet Williams rolls her over, goes for the cover and hooks the leg one, but oh man, Dakota Kai super quick to break up that pin. Jet Williams stamps the leg one more time. Here comes Mimi Emerson. Blair Davenport goes out, comes back in on a reset. Here's a Lutez press. And look at this. Good Blair Davenport slamming the head of Mimi Emerson into the mat. Mimi slow to get back up. Gets a hold of Blair Davenport anyway. Whips her to the ropes. Oh man, what a wicked kick. Here's another cover and another hook of the leg, but again, the Future Endeavor breaking up the pin. Carmella goes for a ride to the floor. Mimi Emerson Quickly countered by Blair Davenport, a couple of hard lefts. Davenport now stalking Mimi Emerson. Emerson slow to get back up here. Davenport goes behind on a reverse fireman's carry, drives a knee into the head. There's a GTS. Here's another cover on the hook of the leg, but too close to the femme fatale corner. Jeannie Parker breaks up the pin pretty quick. Blair Davenport with a knee and a stomp to Mimi Emerson. Davenport beats it out of town. Well, she was going to beat it out of town, but she's changed her mind apparently. Blair Davenport going after all the members of the femme fatale in the corners. Mimi Emerson drives both knees into her back. Mimi rounds her up. There's a sweep of the leg from Blair Davenport. And it looks like this time she has had enough. Here comes Dakota Kai again. Dakota Kai catches a knee to the head from Mimi. Dakota Kai quickly counters. Quickly back up on her feet. Mimi catches the kick to the midsection. Dakota Kai goes behind on her. Escorts her towards the ropes. Dakota Kai playing tug of war with the arm of Mimi Emerson against the ropes. Dakota with a snapmare. Rebounds off the ropes. There's a kick right to the chest. Dakota Kai turns it over to Carmella. Mimi up in the far right corner. As Carmella moves in, there's a chop across the chest. There's the second one. Dakota Kai watching as Carmella puts a boot to the chest of Mimi Emerson. There's a shot to the back. There's a whip to the ropes. Well, look at that. Mimi sidesteps it, but catches it right instead and catches the kick to the midsection. Down she goes. Here's a quick cover and a hook of the leg from Carmella, but again, too close to the Le Femme Fatale side. And the pin gets broken up by Jet Williams. Carmella beats it out of town, turns it over to Dakota Kai on the tag. Mimi Emerson still in there. Mimi catches the kick to the midsection. Dakota locks her up, whips her to the ropes, ducks under, drives a knee into the, right into the knee of Mimi Emerson. Dakota Kai whips her to the far right corner. Mimi counters with both boots, gets a hold of Dakota, clothesline, takes her down on the mat. Emerson rounds her up again, slams her face first into the canvas with a reverse Russian leg sweep. Here's a cover and a hook of the leg. One. Oh, almost a two. Blair Davenport breaking up the pin that time. Mimi Emerson goes back to work on Dakota Kai. Dakota being escorted to Le Femme Fatale's corner, head first into the turnbuckle she goes. Here's a tag to Jeannie Dynamite. Here comes a double team from Le Femmes. There's a hard shot to the ribs to Dakota Kai. The women's world champion tags her with the right. Tags her with another one that spins her around, goes behind. Tries to get her up for the finisher, but oh man, catches a kick. Oh, low down. Dakota Kai not fooling around here. The women's world champion rounded up over the shoulders of Dakota Kai. A knee right to the head. Down goes Jeannie Parker. Dakota covers. One. But no. Mimi Emerson breaking up the pin. Dakota Kai beats it over to her corner. Turns it over to Blair Davenport. Jeannie Parker right back up on her feet again. A hard right spins Blair Davenport around. She's got her up this time. Boom. There we go. Right face first into the canvas. Here's a pin, but not even a one. With Dakota Kai breaking that one up. Mimi Emerson shows her the door. Jeannie Parker stalking Blair Davenport here. Jeannie drops the leg across the throat. Oh man, Blair Davenport looks like she's out. Jeannie rounds her up. Escorts her to Le Femme Fatale's corner. Head first into the turnbuckle. Here comes Jet Williams on the tag. Dakota Kai laid out on the wrong side of town. There's a punch right to the ribs from Jet Williams to Blair Davenport. A hard right. Look at this. Rolls her up into a leg lock. That's it. She's tapping out. It is all over. Look at this. Le Femme Fatale picking up the win over the Future Endeavor. Well, how about that?
The time was 19 minutes and 20 seconds. Your winners by tap out, Le Femmes Fatale.
And there it is, Jet Williams scoring a submission win over Blair Davenport. For Les Femmes Fatales to pick up this win in this 6-woman tag. We'll be back with more Helloween Brawl right after the break.
Well, here's one that I've been waiting on. The Snarl Tag Team Championships on the line. Bret the Hitman Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart, the Hart Foundation, facing the Freak and the Wild Thing Wayne Tate, the Psychedelics, for the Snarl Tag Team Championships.
Bret Hart and the Anvil with another golden opportunity to snag the Snarl Tag belts, but it's a way tall order against the Freak and Wild Thing, who have been uncheckable as the champions. Nonetheless, you can't ignore the experience the Hart Foundation brings to the table, so let's not rule out a possible upset.
Sylvia already knows that. It's why we haven't seen the Psychedelics for a while, as they've been training for this match, determined to hang onto the Snarl Tag belts. They're all definitely aware of the Hart Foundation's potential.
We already know the Freak and the Wild Thing don't shy away from long battles.
What a busy night it's been for Sylvia already. Gary Galaxy retains the Cruiserweight title. Now we got the Freak and the Wild Thing defending the Snarl Tag titles. And coming up right after this, we got Power and Beauty defending against the Disciples of Darkness. Boy, Sylvia's strong. I gotta tell you, she still might make Manager of the Year this year.
Well, it's true, MJ Ferrantino does have the larger stable of the two. They don't have the same winning track record as the Stronghold.
Ain't nobody got the same track record as the Stronghold. Man, the originals, the Psychedelics, Big Jake Blackwell, Power and Beauty. It's just kind of scary how successful Sylvia Strong has been.
Well, Tex, what say you? Are we gonna see a title retention in this one?
Can't really say for sure. Like we said, the Hart Foundation's long on experience. We'll just have to wait and see.
This next match is set for one fall with a 20-minute time limit, and it is for the RWA Snarl Tag Team Championships. Introducing first the challengers at a combined weight of 520 pounds from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, Bret the Hitman Hart, and from Reno, Nevada, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, the Hart Foundation. Their opponents accompanied by Sylvia Strong at a combined weight of 477 pounds from Paducah, Kentucky, the Freak, and from Staten Island, New York, Wild Thing Wayne Tate, the Snarl Tag Team Champions, the Psychedelics.
The Psychedelics have already dropped the belts once this year to Wilcox and Hollywood. So, a loss, while it wouldn't be good for the Stronghold, is still a very real possibility. So I hope the Freak and Wild Thing will benefit from their training in their off time.
Well, let's find out, Christy. It's going to be the Hitman and the Freak starting this one off as referee Walt Rothburn rings the bell. Here we go. The Freak charges a headbutt like a damn rhinoceros. Wow. The Hitman puts on the brakes. The Freak shoves him back. Running punch, but doesn't make quite that much impact. The Hitman with the Dragon Sweeper, but the Freak delivers a couple of shots to the midsection. Got him up in a double choke, but the Hitman counters it into an arm drag. Well, now, Bret the Hitman Hart. Inverted atomic drop to the Freak in the lower regions. There's a kick to the gut. There's a quick jab, a slap across the chest, another, and whoa, down goes Bret the Hitman Hart. The Freak already getting ready to go there. Big time senton right across the gut. The Freak covers, hooks the leg. 1, 2. Well, no good. I could have told him that wasn't going to work. The Freak moves back in on the Hitman, has him up. Oh man, gut wrench, power bomb. Turns it into a knee right to the chest. The Freak steps out. Here comes Wild Thing Wayne Tate as Bret the Hitman Hart rolls to the outside. He's momentarily stunned. The Freak moves him in, rolls him back in for the Wild Thing. The Wild Thing going after the Anvil. And now returning to work on the Hitman. There's a DDT, drops him right on the top of his crown. Wild Thing Wayne Tate A chop across the chest, a right, a kick to the midsection, and a spear kick that drops the Hitman to the canvas again. The Hitman counters and shoves him away, misses with the overhand right. Wild Thing misses with the clothesline. The Hitman tags him with a shot to the back. Hard whip to the ropes for the Wild Thing. Big body drop. The Hitman with a kick to the back of the head. Wild Thing Wayne Tate. Locked up into a belly-to-belly suplex from the Hitman. The excellence of execution. Moves in right away. Quickly gets countered by Wild Thing Wayne Tate. Oh, nice toss from Wild Thing Wayne Tate. The Wild Thing rolls him over, goes for the cover, and hooks the leg one. Brett instinctively reaching out for the bottom rope. Walt Rothburn telling the Wild Thing he's going to have to break it up. Got to start all over from zero. The Wild Thing stomping on the hands and fingers of the Hitman. And so far the Psychedelics are not faring too badly. Bret the Hitman Hart has been in trouble from the word go. Another set of stomps to the hand from Wild Thing Wayne Tate. Here comes the Freak again on the tag. As the Hitman gets back to a standing position, the Freak rebounds off the ropes, flying elbow, takes the Hitman down to the mat again. Here's another cover. 1, 2. Oh, shut up! The Psychedelics retaining the titles in what it might be the shortest tag team match I've ever seen.
The time was 2 minutes and 38 seconds. Your winners and still Snarl Tag Team Champions, the Psychedelics.
2 minutes and 38 seconds. You could knock me over with a feather. The Freak and the Wild Thing retaining the Snarl Tag Team Championships in pretty spectacular fashion, as if they had someplace they needed to be in a rip of a hurry.
Man, Dandy Don, believe me, I'm just as surprised as you are. 2 minutes and 38 seconds. I've never seen the Hart Foundation get whipped like that. Unbelievable. And it ended right here with the Freak with that flying elbow off the middle rope. And it must have knocked Bret the Hitman Hart out. But the question is, where the hell was Jim the Anvil Neidhart? I guess he wasn't expecting that. We'll be back with more Helloween Brawl right after this.
Fans, we're wrapping up the second hour with the Women's World Tag Titles match that everyone's been nail-biting about, as the Disciples of Darkness, Drew Draven and Selena Sheik, challenge Frankie Picone and Marta Gordon, Power and Beauty, in a match that's do or die for the champs.
Let's hope they don't take that one too literally, Christy.
The Sectarians may have done a little ballistic podiatry on themselves in their last appearance. That is, they shot themselves in the foot by rolling out the Disciples, along with Amanda Robinson. And Tiana, the ringside interference they caused led the general managers to decide that they should rightly be banned from ringside for this Women's World Tag Title matchup. And I'm happy to see it. If Drew and Selena are gonna do anything underhanded, they'll have to do it for themselves, risking possible disqualification. Sylvia insisted on that too. So, it's just those two.
Yeah, but that door swung both ways. The Disciples in turn insisted that Sylvia Strong also be banned from ringside. At least the odds will be fair for this championship match.
I couldn't agree more. Quite frankly, I did not like having Amanda Robinson and Tiana Marquez standing ringside. This is just no good, especially in a championship matchup like this. It's just too damn important.
You know, Tex, when you and Steve Groves asked me for my on it, you saw how quickly I agreed. There shouldn't be no seconds at ringside in this Women's World Tag Title match, especially with the Sectarians playing dirty pool the way they do. I'll say it was not a popular outcome when Frankie Picone and Marta Gordon relieved American powers of the Women's World Tag Team Championships, but nonetheless, ever since they have been absolutely dominant. And in this matchup, with no seconds at ringside, there'll be no distractions. They've got every opportunity to retain the title successfully, all on their own.
Frankie and Marta are so ready for this title defense. More so than usual, given the Sectarians' reputation for getting up to no good at all. Sylvia will be watching from the back, and like her, I've got my fingers and toes crossed, because a win for the Disciples would be an even worse outcome than when the Angels of Anarchy snagged the titles from American Powers. For a few weeks over the summer during the Sweet Revenge Tour.
Yeah, we'd be seeing those Not My Tag Team Champion signs in the stands again.
The next match is set for one fall with a 20-minute time limit, and it is for the RWL Women's World Tag Team Championships. The challengers, representing the Sectarians, from Salem, Massachusetts, Drew Draven, and from Sleepy Hollow, New York, Selena Sheik, the Disciples of Darkness. Their opponents representing the Stronghold, from Duluth, Minnesota, Francis Frankie Picone, and from Pasadena, California, Marta Gordon, the Women's World Tag Team Champions, Power and Beauty.
Frankie and Marta haven't defended the titles that many times, but this particular one is probably the most important title defense of all. Yeah, every title defense matters, but this one is as big as they come. Drew Draven and Frankie Picone gonna be starting off this Women's World Tag Team title match. Referee Willie Johnson sounds the bell. Here we go. They lock it up, collar and elbow. Frankie Picone whips Drew Draven to her team's corner. She's going to take it on her own. She's going to try and take Drew Draven's arm home using the ropes. Picone drives Drew Draven into the turnbuckle. Now she's going to try and take the other arm home. Well, now, a farewell to arms, as it were. Oh, look at this here. Frankie Picone off the top rope, coast to coast, all the way across town to Drew Draven. Wow, they have been training pretty hard, huh? Drew Draven rounded up for a pin here. One. Just the one, says Willie Johnson. Man, Frankie Picone rounds Drew Draven up again. Whips her right back to the P&B corner. Again, takes it on her own, but gets countered by Drew Draven. Drew Draven locks her up. Whips her to the far right corner. Goes after Marta Gordon, too. Drops her to the floor. Turns her attention to Frankie Picone. Smashes her head into the turnbuckle. Marta Gordon laid out on the outside as Drew Draven takes it off the middle rope. A flying kick to the side of the head of Frankie Picone. Drew turns it over to Selena Sheik on the tag. Frankie Picone counters with an elbow to Selena Sheik. Misses with the hold. Man, a flying punch from Selena Sheik takes Frankie Picone down to the mat again. Clubbing overhand right. Oh, man. Here we go. Marta Gordon comes in on the tag. Charges, catches a running kick from Selena Sheik. Marta shoves her away, both feet. Marta Gordon rounds up Selena Sheik. Whips her to the ropes. Ducks under. Leapfrogs it. Here she comes. And, ooh! Flapjack. Face first into the canvas. Marta covers quick. 1, 2. A near fall. Pretty early on. That might be a good sign. Marta Gordon rounds up Selena Sheik. Gets a hold of her. Whips her right back into the P&B corner. There's a chop across the chest from Marta Gordon. There's another one. He's going to leave a handprint. There's a hard right that drops Selena Sheik seated into the corner. Marta countered by Selena Sheik. Tripped up and slammed face first into the mat. Dragon screw from Marta Gordon. Look at this. Showing off with supreme confidence here. As Selena Sheik makes her way to her corner, you better pay attention and turn around because here comes Drew Draven. Drew Draven with a running kick to Marta Gordon takes her down. Quick tag to Frankie Picone. Frankie catches a knee to the head. Both members of Power and Beauty laid out right now as Drew Draven gets a hold of Frankie. Frankie counters, whips her to the corner. There's a clothesline that takes Drew Draven down to the mat. She turns her attention to Selena Sheik, tags her with a couple of right hands. A third one drops her to the floor. Drew Draven on the outside. Tags Frankie with a right and a left and a drop kick. Referee Willie Johnson already counting. Drew Draven tries to drive her into the ring steps, but doesn't quite make it. Selena Sheik back up to a standing position here, going to turn her attention to Frankie Picone on the outside. Frankie Picone rounded up. There's a knee to the head
as Drew Draven turns her attention to Marta Gordon. A series of 10-count punches to the chest from Marta Gordon as Selena Sheik continues to work on Frankie Picone. Down goes Marta. Selena Sheik gathers up. Frankie Picone rolls her back inside the ring. Drew Draven right back on her. Drives the knee into the mat. And it looks like the momentum has turned to the Disciples of Darkness. And that may not be a good thing. Wrist clutch stomps to the back from Drew Draven to Frankie Picone. Frankie rounded up again. Whip to the Disciples corner. Here comes Selena Sheik on a tag, and here comes a double team to Frankie Picone. Whip to the ropes. Double shoulders. Takes her down to the mat as Selena Sheik takes over for her team. And here we go. The sadistic stuff gets started as Selena Sheik goes to work on the arms of Frankie Picone on the mat. Not a good thing. Double knees to the back from Selena Sheik. Turns her attention to Marta Gordon, tags her with the right, turns her attention back to Frankie Picone, making her way back up to a standing position in the corner. Selena Sheik driving knees into the midsection of Frankie Picone. Down she goes. There's another stomp to the chest. Selena Sheik quickly countered by Frankie Picone. Back up on her feet, charges. There's a clothesline, a glancing one that took her down to one knee at least. Neck breaker drop on Frankie Picone. Frankie quickly goes in for the cover. Well, not, that's technically an illegal pin, and she knows it. But I guess desperation. Flapjack face first into the canvas again for Selena Sheik. Frankie Picone rounds her up. Hard whip to the corner. Frankie moves in. Selena Sheik counters with an elbow. Tries to make her way away, but no good. Another neckbreaker catches her. Selena rolls out to the floor. Frankie Picone rolls on out after her. Rocks her up. Has her up over the shoulder, takes a walk with her, and drops her face first under the lip of the apron, followed up with a stomp to the midsection and a rolling elbow to the back. Frankie Picone, large and in charge at the present time. The momentum has shifted again towards power and beauty this time, with the women's world tag team titles on the line. Frankie locks up Selena Sheik, gets her back inside the ring. And here she comes right after her. Frankie right there. Rounds her up. Clothesline takes her down. Frankie deftly steps over, rounds her up. Don't let go of the wrist. There's another clothesline. She takes another death step across Selena Sheik, and there's another clothesline. A trifecta right there as Marta Gordon comes in on the tag. Selena Sheik rolls back to a standing position, but catches a jumping neckbreaker from Marta Gordon. Marta catches a kick to the head. Selena Sheik locks her up. Whips Marta to the Disciples corner. Sets her up on the top turnbuckle. We've seen this move before. This may not be good. Selena Sheik setting it up. The wheelbarrow bulldog, but no! Marta Gordon's seen that movie before. Turns her attention to Drew Draven. Drapes her over the top rope. Tags her with an overhand right. Selena Sheik back to a standing position here. Marta whipped her to the power and beauty corner, but oh, look at this. She tried to counter, but there's a kick to the back. She's stuck between the ropes, and whoa! Man, that was cool. Just dragged her down to the canvas. Marta Gordon and Frankie Picone looking exceptionally impressive. They sure have been training, man. Wow. Selena Sheik laid out on the canvas near center ring. Oh, little kick to the side of the head from Frankie Picone. Playing with her prey here. Selena whips back into the corner one more time. She counters with an elbow. Locks up Frankie Picone. Has her up, drives her knee into the head, and down she goes. Selena quickly goes for a couple of one. Just a one. There's referee Willie Johnson. Selena Sheik makes her way to the corner, tags in Drew Draven. Drew Draven locks it up with Frankie. Whips her to her team's corner, tags in Selena Sheik. Here comes a double team, another one, another shot to the ribs for Frankie Picone. Selena Sheik takes over. There's a Russian light streak. And he parlays that into a submission, stretching Frankie Picone for all she's worth. Frankie gets the leg loose Tags her with a couple of rights. And gets herself back up to a standing position. Frankie with a knee to the midsection, and oh man, that was a beautiful Hurricane from Frankie Picone. Serena Sheik still trying to figure it all out. Here comes Marta Gordon on the tag. Marta locks her up, whips her into the power and beauty corner again. Drapes the leg over the rope, delivers the kick to the calf. Marta moves right back in. Sets it up. She's got her by the leg. Look at this package suplex. Pretty nicely done. Here's a cover and a hook of the leg. 1, 2, 3. Well, that is going to do it. Thank goodness. Power and beauty retained.
Time was 9 minutes and 13 seconds. Your winners and still Women's World Tag Team Champions, Power and Beauty.
Well, all right, GB, you can quit holding your breath. Frankie Picone and Marta Gordon retaining the Women's World Tag Team Championships over the Disciples of Darkness, and, well, I'm relieved to see it myself.
You're relieved. I'm relieved. And I'm sure Sylvia's cussing up a storm backstage, because that's how she shows relief. Been a banner night for the Stronghold, with everyone retaining their titles. And this is one Helloween Brawl Sylvia's not likely to forget. Man, what a load off my mind.
And that takes care of the second hour of tonight's Supercard. When we return the third hour, and don't you dare miss it.